In this episode of The Road Chose Me, I'm exploring Swaziland and then remote beaches in Mozambique. From the minute we drive into Swaziland, we sense it's very different from South Africa. Everyone here is really friendly and there's plenty of space to find wild camping and just explore the beautiful mountains. After a couple of beautiful campsites, we find our way to the Mantenga Cultural Village and get an amazing display of traditional singing and dancing. We thoroughly enjoy our time in Swaziland, though it's only a fairly small country, and not long after, we find it's time to move on to Mozambique. At the border, one of the guys tells me it's a good thing it's raining. That way there won't be too many police on the roads to try and bribe me. Perfect. Here's some video of us driving away from one of the magical beach campsites we found back out to the main road. You can see there isn't a whole lot of development when you get away from the roads, but what there are is beautiful sand dunes and stunning white sand beaches with no people around at all. I left the Jeep on this beach for a few hours, though I got nervous when the tide came back in, so I turned around quickly and drove off before it actually came up to the tyres. It doesn't take long before we find ourselves at the beachside paradise of Tofu. This place is basically heaven on earth, and after renting a couple of surfboards, we end up hanging around for almost 3 weeks. The people are super friendly, the food is delicious, and there's a couple of different surf breaks, one we practice as beginners and then one we graduate to as our skills improve. Crossing the Tropic of Capricorn makes me realise I'm not all that far from the equator. I hear about a super secret and pristine beach that not many people get to, and so I spend the better part of a day on these deep sandy tracks trying to get there. When I arrive right at dusk, the chief of the village is more than happy to have me camp right on the beachfront. Wow, this place is maybe the most beautiful beach I've ever camped on in my life. Here's where I set up camp for a few days, just 20 yards off the actual sand. And here's the view out over the entire beach. There were only a handful of people around for the couple of days I camped there, including local guys who had just paddled in from catching these fish out on the reef. This is me driving away from that wonderful campsite. You can see the number of palm trees and the little shacks that the locals call home. There's no electricity here, or really any development as we might think of it, but wow, are these people happy and friendly. They live in paradise. It's amazing out here, and I can't wait to come back someday. I know I will. No trip to Mozambique would be complete without some snorkeling, and so I check out Bazaruto Island just off Vilanculas. There's tons of coral and brightly coloured fish, and I enjoy almost an hour floating around in the water that's basically the temperature of a warm bath. I know I've barely scratched the surface of this huge country, although I've really enjoyed my time here. Speaking Portuguese again has been a lot of fun, eating tropical fruit, and of course, filling my beach craving in tofu, surfing every day in the morning and late in the afternoon. Mozambique really is one of those special places on Earth that deserves to be visited time and time again.